Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening. A little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Yes, I'm actually on time again. Look at me go, rocking and rolling. Here talking about something which I didn't think I would be talking about, to be very full with you. The idea that we are actually talking about auditing the Fed. That concept for libertarian is like, what? Now, I know some of you are going to be upset. I know some of you are like, if you're more hardcore libertarian, you're more like, gotta end the Fed, forget audit the Fed, end the Fed. You end it. I get that emotion. I do. But I think we should be happy that we even got audit. Like, we got audit. Like, and we haven't audited yet. But the fact that that's actually out there, that they're actually out there, that we could actually audit the Fed, I mean, progress. That's what I would say to those of you who think it doesn't go far enough. Not that I'm against what you're saying. I'm just being very clear. At least we got that. And it may be the beginnings of this. Now, you might go, Larry, wait a minute now. This isn't good enough. We don't want this to happen. This is a bad idea. All right. Let me explain a quick story if I could. Quick story. I tell this story often, and if you've been listening to me for a while, you may have already heard it, but it's still a good story anyway. I used to do a lot of training with New York City agencies. I would train them in leadership, things of that sort, emotional communication, things like that. It's what I do as my day job. So I used to do a lot of New York City agencies. And one day I'm doing one of the classes, and they knew that I was into politics, knew I'd run for governor, and I would never talk about it unless it was during a break and they brought it up. Otherwise, I never spoke about politics at all. I just did my job and I went home and that was it, right? It's what I would do. Well, one time it's during a break. And during a break, there's a bunch of them talking. Now, I want you to, if you can imagine the audience, the people in my audience here, they were, youngest is probably 30, oldest is probably 60. So between 30 and 60. So all adults. All of them educated. They all have credentials, right? Either not college degrees, some advanced degrees, but even if they don't have college degrees, most of them did, but even if they didn't, they still had some form of credential to be working for the city. So they were all credentialed, many of them with degrees, some with advanced degrees, all adults, all working for the government. And one of them, and they're talking about the Fed, and they're saying how they're so happy that we had the Fed during the 2008, 2009 crash because that's what saved us. They said that. I kept my mouth shut. I'm here to teach. That's my job. Bite my tongue. I'm quiet. One of them goes, isn't that right, Larry? And I was like, see, now you messed up. Nah, you should have just kept talking. But he said something. So I said, I was very calm. I said, you guys know the Fed is not part of the government, right? Like, what? So you know it's a private bank, right? What? Yeah. It's basically a private banking cartel. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. Just, you have your phones, Google it. Like, no way. I said, Google it now. Google it. All of a sudden here. What? Huh? What? Huh? Oh my God. None of them knew. Let me repeat that. 20 to 25 people in that area between the ages of 30 and 60, all credentialed, educated, people who work for the government. Not one of them knew. They didn't know that. Yes, that's where we are. They didn't know. Then I said, it just makes money, right? What? Yeah, it just makes money. It prints money. It just printed money. I'm like, no, it doesn't. I said, you just Google it again. You Google it. Oh my God. Yes. I tell this story often because still to this day, most Americans don't know that the Federal Reserve isn't part of the government. They don't understand that it's a private banking cartel. That's what it actually is. And most people don't believe that, don't know that, couldn't imagine that. I'll go one step further. Most people in the press don't know that. Larry, how can you be so sure? Because as you know, I do press hits. I talk to people in the press. You see me on shows, you see me in the press. So I do that kind of thing. And I will sometimes bring it up and they'll be like, no, it's not true. Yes, it is. And they are, I'm not joking, they are political reporters. They are political reporters and they don't know that. Yes. Now, I want to bring this up because Matt, you have brought up the exact right answer. Matt says, how can they audit the Fed if it's a private organization? They can't. This is why I love the audit piece. You are correct, Matt. They can't just decide to audit it. That's not how it works. They're going to have to get some kind of special order or warrant or rule or something to do it. You can't just randomly decide to audit a private company. Yes, Matt. Thank you for that. You are correct. Yes. And even most libertarians don't get that. That's why I was brought up, let's audit the Fed. They say, why? Because you can't. And most Americans, the vast majority, don't even know that because they think it's part of the government. So you can just audit it because it's part of the government. It's not. The Fed could just say, no, get a warrant. Go away, get a warrant. The Fed can say that if it wants to. Why? It's a private banking cartel. Thank you, Matt, for bringing that up. That was my next point. You kind of took a little bit of my thunder, but still good. You were thinking the same way I was thinking. Yes. You can't just do that. You can't just go, I'm deciding to audit a private company. Now, can you find a reason to? Yeah, but you're gonna have to come up with some type of probable cause, something, right? And to be fair, Matt, they'll come up with something. I mean, because they will, right? They will. But you're right. You can't just do that. That's not a thing. But once that happens, people in the press will actually go, wait, what? Why can't you audit it? Like, it's part of the government, right? Oh, what? It's not? This is why I love the audit piece so much. And I know a lot of you are like, end the Fed, end the Fed, end the Fed. I get it. If you remember, it wasn't Ron Paul who was yelling, end the Fed. It was the people around him who loved him who were yelling, end the Fed. What was his actual policy? His actual policy was audit the Fed because he thought the same way I thought, which is just audit it. That's all it takes. Remember the next person about this? Tulsi Gabbard. If you remember her, she talked about auditing the Fed. Yes, she did too. Yes, because she knew the same thing. Just go to audit. That's the first step. Just audit and watch what happens. And right on time, Pete. Right on time. 36 trillion, 219 billion, 581 million, $958,530.58. That debt is what the Fed has given us. This is the gift that they have given us. This is the gift they've given us, and they kept doing it. Yes, they kept doing it. Yes. Thomas says an antitrust action can require an audit. Yes, but you have to admit that they're a monopoly, though. Wouldn't you? Correct. Again, a win. Yes. Let me grab a couple of super chats, guys. Fahim, thank you for the $9.99, my friend. I appreciate the support so much. Every bit does count. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Lunatic in the house with $4.99. Trump in retribution, and I heart it. Labels, titles, categories mean nothing as far as policy. Rhetoric exposed. I am working. All are useless notes. Well, I'm not sure, to be fair with you, Lunatic, if this is retribution or not. I don't know what Trump is thinking. I think I've told you this before. I brought this up in the past, and you see it's clearly true. Trump is not focusing heavily domestically at all. I've warned you guys of this. He has his hands full with foreign policy. And I mean full with foreign policy. You can see it already. He is allowing others to do this, which, again, I'm here for it. I'm going to be clear. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just explaining what's happening. A lot of people thought, well, Trump will have to handle this and that. No, he's not. Trump has his hands full. He's like, Elon, do that thing. Go. RFK Jr., go do that thing. Tulsi, do that thing. Go. Bye. That's what he's going to be doing. Go do the thing. I'm over here. I am knee deep over here. Go do your stuff. That's what he's doing. And again, I'm not mad at him for it. Be very clear. I'm explaining, not complaining. Simply explaining. That's all. I don't mind. Elon wants to go in and tear some stuff up. I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to fight. Because even if Elon is unable to end it or whatever the case may be, right? The fact that he'll bring people talking about it, the fact that we are discussing this idea, I'm in. I am in. Remember, Elon told us he was going to cut 2 trillion off our budget. And I was like, you don't got to do 2 trillion. Look, if he can do it, awesome. Awesome. But it's fine. Give me half a trillion and I will be jumping for joy. Imagine, this would be the best part. Imagine if all of a sudden, Pete, when he does his national debt, it actually goes down. Pete might fall out of his chair, but it's fine. We'll pick him up and he could post that it went down. That would be amazing. Just let it go down. It can go down $5. Down $5. So, lunatic, I'm not mad at all. I'm here. I heart it too, as you say. I'm with you. I don't care if it's retribution or not. I'm not sure if it's retribution. He may just be doing it because he's like, look, if I throw this, there's an advantage if you've seen it already. The recent polling has shown, this is from like last week. I mean, it's very recent, like it's last week, February 7th, I think it ended. So it's like a couple days ago. Trump is still doing very well. Now, Elon's going down a bit, right? But I'm okay with it. Trump did this before, if you remember. Last year during the summer, as soon as last summer, as soon as Biden dropped out and then they anointed Harris, as soon as that happened, the Trump team was reeling. They were not ready for it. And I warned you, I said it, that's what's happening right now. They weren't ready. They had to reboot everything. And to be forward, they did it. They did accomplish that, but they had to redo that. And that takes time and energy and reshifting, the whole deal. What did they do? If you remember, they threw J.D. Vance out. He was on everything. They'd throw J.D. Vance out. And everybody was yelling at him. He's a bad guy, hates women, blah, 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 cat ladies. Remember, they were hammering him. J.D. Vance was getting hammered. But he was the guy who had to fight in the front lines while the Trump team had to reboot, right? Again, they did it. They rebooted. Well done. They won. Clearly it worked. But that was the plan. Shove out J.D. Vance. He takes all the hits. He fights in the front line. They put the Marine out there, of course. What do you expect? Of course. They throw that out there, and then they reboot. That's kind of happening now. Trump is doing some things and saying things that he's not sure if going to be good or bad. That Gaza thing. Anyway, he's saying all kind of stuff. So what do you do? You have Elon Musk do all the stuff. Elon Musk takes all the attacks, takes all the fight, takes all the battle right now because he doesn't care. He does not care what you think about him. That's what he's doing right now. So, yes. Thank you for that, lunatic. Let me keep going if I can. Super Weapons, thank you for the $5. Everyone should read The Creature from Jekyll Island by E.G. Griffin. Yes, absolutely true. That explains it. But to be forward, Super Weapons, you could just Google it and it would still work. But yes, this is a great book to read. It shows how they literally just changed everything and said, I think we're just going to take over and just take all the money. And people went, yeah, let's do that. And that's what happened. That's basically what happened. So yes. Lunatic goes on to say at 199, thank you. Trump, 30 days in more than 4 past years. This is I saw a piece. I think this was on, I think it was Breaking Points. I'm not sure, but I think it might have been Breaking Points where they were talking about how people were looking and judging Trump. And one of the words they used was, believe it or not, energetic. And you're right. Trump is not a young man. No insult, no shade. Look, no shade. The reality of it is, though, he is far more energetic than Joe Biden. I mean, it's night and day. It's 2 separate planets. They're so different in what they're doing. They are completely different in what they're doing. It's very odd to see the difference. And Trump now looks like he's Superman because he's compared to Biden, right? So Trump is more energetic. Clearly he is. I mean, obviously he is. But when you now compare him to Biden, oh my God. Oh my God. And I don't think that the geriatrics in the Democratic leadership were prepared for this at all. They were not at all. So yes. Lunatic goes on to say, we tried telling government connected money was going away. Even if they back him, would be affected. They didn't open ears. We tried telling government connected money was going away. Even if they back him, would be affected. They didn't open their ears. Okay. I'm going to assume what you mean by that is that the establishment, those types, I think you're right. That's true. you see, look, I said it last year and I keep saying it. This last election was an anti-establishment election as much as it was a pro-Trump election, right? Trump was able to, if you remember initially when Harris first came on the map, when she was first anointed, when that first happened, she got a bump. Why? Her team initially was able to kind of spin it in that she is going to change things. She's the change agent. That was their spin. And for the first couple of days, it was kind of working. Again, Trump wasn't ready for it. The Trump team was not prepared. They did not know how to fight back. They weren't ready for that at all. They just threw JD Vance out there and said, let's figure some stuff out. And in the first couple of days, she was actually winning that battle. The problem is that she had no new policies. She had nothing to change. It was clearly a lie and not true. And when she initially had it, the Trump team couldn't respond right away. Neither did they. They didn't jump on board and go, see, here's our new plans or our new ideas or how we're going to change things and see how Trump's an old fogey and knows the old stuff. They did none of that. Nothing. And then Trump came through and said, I'm going to do much stuff. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing this. And all of a sudden it completely swapped. And it was like, oh, okay, so Trump is the different guy. He's against the establishment. He's the anti-establishment guy. And that line completely worked. So yes, I agree with you on that piece. Ryan says, thank you for $2, my friend. Tear it up, Elon. A lot of people think that, Ryan. And this is the part that I think too many people who are on the Democratic side have not figured that out. They think they can just yell Elon bad. And we don't care. But we don't. And the worst part is, even people who are being affected, right? Even people who are being affected are like, okay. Even those being affected. And that's not normal for us, right? Once you touch me and my money, I get mad. Americans are like, we'll see. Let's see. That's what you're hearing them go. Let's see. They're not saying yay, right? But they're not yet. They're not in the streets. They're not screaming and yelling, Ryan. They're either with you going, tear it up, Elon, or they're going, we'll see. I think most Americans, I think, are just going, okay, something's changing. Let's see. I'm not going to say anything yet. I'm going to wait. Let me see if something happens. And this is what I will say again. If they don't see change coming soon, Trump is going to suffer if that happens. I'm not saying he's right or wrong. All I'm saying is he's got about a year or two. And he knows it, right? He's already said it. He told people. He's basically told people, I got 2 years. He didn't say those words, but he basically said, I got 2 years. And if I don't fix some stuff in 2 years, I'm in trouble. That's what he's basically said, because he's already told all the people around him, you need to give me results in 2 years. If you don't, you're gone. He's going to start blaming them. You're going to watch heads roll. About 18 months from now, you're going to start seeing heads roll. People who cannot give him a win are going to start getting fired. Gone. I promise you that. Quote me now. It might be less, but I'm saying around 18, maybe a year to 18 months. You're going to start seeing if they can't start showing, look, we did something. They're going to start getting gone. Like he's done tomorrow. All those people going away. Now, obviously, guys like Elon Musk are going to be there for a while because he's taking all the hits right now, which is just like Trump did the same thing with JD Vance. Now, to be forward, JD Vance made out like a bandit. Now JD Vance is to hang out, be the nice guy, say nothing, get himself set up for 2028 or whatever. So JD Vance went out there and got his ass kicked, but he took one for the team. And now they're like, we got you. Come on back. So JD's in a good spot now. He's doing good. They didn't kick him to the curb. He's doing just fine right now. So anyway, yes. Lunatic goes back on to say, I told you if he won, you would see books confirmed. I think that's happening now. I agree with you. That is happening now. I think you're right, Lunatic. That is happening now. I agree with you. I think it is happening. So, but I did want to keep going a little bit. I know I gave a bunch of, let me go back. Guys, I know you're enjoying it. That's why you're watching. Click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Please click that like button. You click it so that the man, you know who he is. His first name is Al. His middle name is Gore. And his last name is Rhythm. That guy loves when you click that button. The one known as Lima India Kilo Echo. He loves that. So please do it. He also loves when you repost it, when you share it or repost it someplace else. He loves that too. Also, please subscribe if you have not already. Please subscribe or follow me on Facebook, X, Rumble, Insta, all the things. Please do so. When you are subscribing on YouTube, don't forget to click all notifications. It does matter. As you've seen, people super chatting me. Please feel free to super chat me. That it goes right to the front. I pop those up right away. You can also become a member if you want. I try to grab members first whenever I can. You click that join button. It's $49 per month. And the more we do that, the less I have to work. And boy, do I have to work, because I got bills pay like you got bills pay me too. We all got to pay bills. So yes, so the more this happens, the less work I have to do. As you guys know, I don't have a salary. I'm a consultant. So the more I work, the more I get paid. The less I work, the less I get paid. That's kind of how that works. So in any case, if you knew, that'd be great. Rumble, also a member. If you want to, click subscribe during the live. $4.99. Also, that would be great. So all of that would help tremendously. And I do want to, if I can, I want to grab, this is from Instagram. Richard says, even the USAID money couldn't save the Harris campaign. You're not wrong, my friend. You're not wrong. Even that couldn't save. And there was like billions in that one. Didn't work. Wasn't enough. She did try, though. She did try. Poorly, but she did try. But she tried really poorly. So heading over to Rumble. And let's see. Joel says, the fair tax ends taxation of income, ends the IRS, repeals the 16th Amendment, untaxes businesses, better than tariffs, fully funds Social Security and Medicare. All of that is true. The difference with the fair tax, or the issue with the fair tax is severalfold. But the number one issue with the fair tax is if we do a fair tax, it is a massive cultural change. So I'm not saying you're wrong, Joel. I'm just saying that is a massive cultural change on Americans. Most Americans don't even know what the fair tax is. They wouldn't understand it. And but all you're saying is true, but there's a lot of issues that Americans, our system isn't set for it. So maybe if we did it in a state or something, I don't know if you could do it in a state. I don't know how I'm not sure how you implement that. Right? But I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it is. And what I mean by that is, how do you get Americans to say, this is a good idea? Most Americans are just scared or something like that because they don't get it at all. So anyway, thank you for that. So what I wanted to keep going, if I could. I'll hold on another super chat. Thank you, Ryan. $5. Some members of Congress have never read End the Fed by Ron Paul or Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell, and it shows. If they did, we'd be better off. Yeah, the two about if you remember, Vivek was talking about a test, a citizenship test to vote. How about we have a test to become a congressman? How about that? Right? You can't have any religious tests. That's true. Don't make it religious. That's fine. How about that? Just you gotta like be able to read or something. I don't know. Not a bad idea. Or maybe if we didn't make it a rule, but you have to they'd ask that question, like when they go into the debates, they ask the question, have you read like Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell? What's that? Who's Thomas Sowell? Psh, denied. Maybe we do that instead. That could work probably, right? There we go. Maybe. Lunatic says, thank you for the $9.99. End all Fed, extra agencies, best things all exposed, free markets coming, many talking on all avenues of the spectrum. Trump is winning with his appointees. This is bringing me back to hard work. And this is the point. You're right. Maybe I'm not. I'm still going to go right. You're in the right world. We're not there yet. But why I'm so excited is we are obviously on our way, Lunatic. I mean, it's so obvious we are on our way. We are on our way to exactly that. Just talking about auditing the Fed means we might end it. We might not, but I'll take it. We're already ending the agencies. And you see that so many people are getting scared. That's why I'm feeling better. Because they're like, we can't stop USAID. And their answer is something like, it's only 0.7%. It's not going to do anything. Okay, then why are you mad? Let it go. It's 0.7%. What do you care? Because they know it's the beginning. And Trump actually said already, he said he's going to ask Elon, if I remember right, he said he's going to go education next and then Pentagon. I cannot wait till Pentagon. I cannot wait till Pentagon. That's the juiciest of all the juicy. I am worried that he won't be able to get there, that somehow the courts or the Senate or something is going to stop him, because there's so much money in the military industrial complex. There is so much waste and fraud and theft. There's just so much of it. If you actually found out what's happening there, you'd have to arrest probably half the Pentagon and half the senators. I mean, yeah. I hope it gets there. My worry is it won't. Like, that may be a bridge too far even for them. Like, unless you open up Gitmo for them, right? Not for the migrants. Don't open up Gitmo for the migrants. Open up Gitmo for the thieves in the Pentagon. Open up Gitmo for the senators. Open up Gitmo for them. Maybe I'm changing my mind on Gitmo. Like, I've not been a fan of Gitmo ever. But you do that, I could change my mind. I could change my mind if you open up Gitmo for that. I could, I'm open. That's all I'm saying. I'm open. But I got to keep going if I could. And why does this matter so much when we decide that we are going to audit, right? Whatever the case may be, audit the Fed, end the Fed, whatever the case may be. Because as Pete showed us, it's $36 trillion, right, in debt. You might go, well, Larry, I mean, how are we going to pay that back? Who owes that money? Blah, blah, blah. It's China got to pay us. Well, I looked over at what Reuters said. Reuters came up with their idea. And they say that about 50% of that, give or take, of our debt is held by the U.S., some way Americans, either U.S. investors or some U.S. companies or U.S. people, something, right? It's held by America, about half of that. So about 18 trillion of that, give or take, about is held by Americans. And some of it's held by the Federal Reserve. Some of it's held by Social Security. And about 25% of it is held by foreign investors. So they're all buying up our debt. You got to pay them all back, right? Because they're buying bonds, right? They're buying our treasuries, and then we have to pay them back, right? So we owe them a bunch of money. Or we have to keep paying them a note on it, right? We just keep paying, right? So we just keep paying and paying and paying. So we have to stop it at one point. But the sad part is even more. There's also the unfunded debt. Now, I looked to see what numbers they have for that. And that's hard to find. But Cato, as of last year, says that unfunded debt as of last year is about 73 trillion. That's in addition to the 36. So now it's, what's that, over 110? Is my mathing? About 110 million? Is that about right? 100 million. 110 trillion. Sorry, million. That's for chumps. 110 million. Anyway, 110 trillion in both. That's a lot. We have to somehow get around that. The beginnings of that is the audit. Even if we could just stop the bleeding, how do you get $110 trillion and pay that back? Could you? Yes, right? Could Americans do it? Is that something? If anyone could do it, America could do it. Of course, if anyone can, right? But even if the American people actually understood that we are $110 trillion in debt, like really got that in their heads. We just got it. Like, we're $110 trillion in debt. Trump said it in his Super Bowl interview. He said, we're not very rich. What president has ever said that? Every president goes, we're the most richest, most powerful country in the world. Always say that, in the world, most richest, most powerful in the whole world, blah, blah. He said, we're not that rich. We're $36 trillion in debt. Who says that? He did. That wouldn't have been said before. That just wasn't, it's not a thing they said. They just didn't say that, right? They always just said, America's awesome, America's great, everything's awesome, everything's great, always. He was like, we're in debt, 36 trillion. Well, add the rest, 110 trillion. If Americans actually got that, we might change how we think. we might actually change how we think. We might say, let's stop giving everybody else our money. Let's stop fighting wars all over the place. Let's stop it. We might actually do that. I mean, we might not. We might say, like, to bomb the world. We might, but I don't think so. I think we might actually change our minds. So, looking over at Rumble, Peace Logic is now a monthly supporter. He became a member. Thank you, Peace. I appreciate it. Over on Rumble, I do appreciate it. Every little bit counts. Thank you so much, my friend. I do appreciate it. So, yes. All righty. I do want to grab some comments too. I know I haven't. So, Mike Voss in the house says, just what might they find? And then what would America do about it? I mean, global crash as dollar is revalued and ending spending is the least of the issues. You know, this part I already like, right? If they actually audit the Fed and then, of course, go to the next level, which I hope is audit education, which is fine, whatever. That's not the biggest deal. I mean, that'd be a big deal, but not the biggest. The big would be Pentagon. If they found it, now all these Americans might, to your point, could decide, is there something that Americans are okay with? In other words, are Americans okay throwing $100 billion at Ukraine? I don't think we are. But if we are, at least let's be open about it and say, hey, look, I know we can put $100 billion someplace else, but Ukraine matters. And let the American people go, okay, you know what? Take our money. We're good with it. I mean, I don't think they would. But if they did, at least we have say. Clearly, I'm libertarian. I don't want any of the money going out. But if I have a choice, at least let me decide where my money goes. At a minimum, give me that at least. Not just, oh, we've decided as your betters, because we're smarter than you, that we're going to put the money in this space and you just shut up and keep paying. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that. So what the reason why I think they may not get to the Pentagon is what you're talking about, Mike, is that what will they actually find? There's some really bad stuff here. You know it. I know it. I wish it was just about, defending America and that was it, right? At least I could get, but yeah. Matt says, a true audit's not what Musk is doing. I don't think we know yet, to be forward with you, Matt. I mean, maybe. I don't think we know yet. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing it. I don't know. So Andrea says, I am dancing the idea of auditing the Fed. You and me together, Andrea. You and me together. Yes. You and me together. I'm with you. Search and Destroy says, smaller, less government, all for it. This part, there is a worry I have. Search, there is a worry. And the worry is we're doing it very quickly. Now, I think we kind of have to, and that sucks. I don't like that we have to. And the reason why we have to is if we don't hit hard and fast now, the establishment will stop. That's what they do. They slow stuff down. They stop. They make things worse. It's what they're good at. It's their skill set. They'll find a way of doing it because that's what they do. They're good at it. So we have to. My worry, though, is the same as I said with Malay, right? Malay did what he had to do. I believe that, and I back what he did. At the same time, it was painful, right? It was painful. There's no way around it. It was. I don't want to be so painful. But we have to start saying, how can local people take care of this? The thing that people haven't gotten is what Trump's cutting of the fund, freezing of the funds did is it let people know that we take $3 trillion from Americans in the States, give it to the government, at the federal government, so they can give it back. Holy crap, that's stupid. Why aren't we just keeping our money? Holy crap, that's stupid. Let's end that. Let's let local people find answers to help local people. We could do it. But Larry, without federal funds, it's our money. Or more debt? We don't need the debt. We don't need the debt at all. We just don't. Cage John, thank you for being a member. Good evening, all. Cage present and quite eager for this one. Oh, Craig's present, sorry, and quite eager for this one. The times, they are changing. This is true. This is true. I agree. Yes, they are. And I'm happy about that. Again, not unhappy. Kim says, real simple, either allow an audit or shut it down. And that's the piece, right? Here's the issue, Kim. What if they don't allow the audit? What if they go, No, we're a private banking company. You can't just audit us. Okay, great. Then they'll have to find some other way of doing something, right? And they will, whether it's because of antitrust law or whatever. They'll find an answer and they'll have a reason to go do it. And the fact that you said no right then and there should be a sign that you got to shut it down. And my hope is when the audit comes, all the people on the board decide to resign in protest. That's my hope, because they don't want to get caught, so they resign in protest. I hope that's true. They all resign, you can start shutting it down. Now, here's the problem. If you just shut it down, our entire economy is based on debt. Our entire world economy is based on debt. If you shut this down, this is how the reserve currency has value, through this magical fiat, the Federal Reserve. You might go, but Larry, that's why we got to shut it down. Yes, agreed. But I go back to my earlier point. Do I want to do it so quickly? Do I want to do it right away? The shock to the system, and I know people go, doesn't matter, shut it down, Larry, we have to. Here is always my worry. When we shut it down too fast and the shock to the system is so much, what do people ask for? Well, Larry, you see, they'll step up and they will, help out, blah, blah. No, they will beg for a strongman. That's what they will do, because that's what people do. And if they lean left, they'll try to get a more left-leaning communist socialist strongman. Lean right, they'll want more of a fascistic autocratic strongman in that regard. They'll do that. They'll just go whatever side they lean. That's it. But they'll beg for it. Guarantee, whichever one they're accustomed to, they'll do that. That I don't want. So that is my concern. I agree what you're saying, Kim. I think we should allow the audit or shut it down, as long as the shutdown isn't tomorrow. I hope people like the Ron Pauls of the world, the people who understand economics, and I don't know this well enough to have an answer. I don't have an answer for this one, to be very forward with you. But I hope they have a plan that says, yes, we shut it down over the course of X months or X years or whatever is the required thing. And then how do you begin to, at that point, prop up the money with something real, right? If you remember, RFK was talking about this last year. Last summer, he was talking about the idea of starting to back our money with both precious metals and cryptocurrencies. That was his idea. That may not be the best idea, but let's have an idea, whatever that is. Again, I don't know enough about that, but to get the right idea so that we can back the money and not just end it. And that may take months or years, whatever the case may be. That's the issue I am concerned about. So yes, with my caveat, if that makes sense. Yes, with my caveat. I'm going to head over to Rumble here. Let's see here. P says, I see a subscribe button. Hitting that keeps you in Rumble. Okay. What's the difference between locals and... Rumble and locals are connected, but they're two separate... There's still two separate websites. I do not go live on locals. I go live on Rumble. But if you want to support me, locals still does support me. So I still get supported by locals too if you want to. Yes. Straight Ann, thank you for the $2 over on Rumble. Who or what branch of government can shut down DOE or USAID or the Fed? USAID and DOE are both under the executive branch. So the executive branch could do it. Now, the argument is that they can't do it because it was authorized by Congress. So the argument is, no, he can't cut it because it's authorized under Congress. Congress would have to decommission it. That's the argument that Congress is saying. What Trump is saying is, no, it's under my branch. So I have control of that. You might have authorized it, but now it's under my branch. I can now decide what to do with it. That's his argument. And I think Trump's argument's winning, right? I think Trump's argument's winning. Will it probably go to the courts? It probably will. And the courts make their decision on what they think is the appropriate answer. But that's the argument for both of those two, right? The Fed, nobody can turn it down. Can they? Can they? I guess you'd have to have like a constitutional amendment, I guess. I don't know what you'd have to do. I think Congress, and they're same idea, right? I mean, except it's not under either of them. So I love it. Someone's got to just say it's gone. I would assume it would have to be the president, is my assumption, only because the president is the one who decides who The chair is. So I guess that's it. But that's about all. So yeah, that's the issue with the Fed. The Fed's not part of the government. USAID is part of the government, right? DOE is part of the government. And that's why there's that piece there. So I hope that was clear. Or clearer, maybe. But yes, we have a lot of issues to deal with. And if you have $36 trillion in debt, you probably don't want to default on that debt, right? And that's the problem. You don't want to default on that debt. You want to somehow figure out how to end that debt, how to pay it off and move on. Now, could you pay it off early, maybe, and cut some of it? Could you cut a chunk off of that? You could, right? I think we owe, like Japan, for example, $1 billion, whatever we owe them, $1 trillion. I think we owe them $1 trillion. I'm not joking. I think it's $1 trillion. And I think China's about the same in that area, about $1 trillion. Maybe go, you know what? I'll write you a check today for $500 billion. Have a nice day. Done. Right? So maybe you negotiate it. That's possible. But you don't just want to go, I'm not paying you. Particularly about 18 trillion of that is American held. You don't want to tell American companies, American people, yeah, that $18 trillion I owe you. Yeah, good luck with that. Probably not a good idea. So, I mean, we could, but I think you do need to somehow deal with that in some way, shape, or form, right? You don't just want to, you don't do that. Exactly. So Lunatic says, for $1.99, thank you for that super chat. Trump wins as dictator if dollars revalued. Okay. You bring up some good points, which I don't like you should bring them up, but you're still right. Americans right now, and you can see it, it is obvious. The idea that democracy's on the line, Americans don't care. Why? Because democracy hasn't been working for us. Because we haven't had a real democracy. And it hasn't been working for us. So why do we care? And it may sound dumb. But if you're thinking to yourself, you understand, I watched MSNBC and they said, that's because they're all privileged. Their life is fine. They don't care. They're paying their rent. Every one of those talking heads on TV, all of them make 7 figures a year. Every one of them makes 7 figures a year. They don't care. What do they care? They care about the stuff that keeps them paying their bills. They're good. Their bills are paid. They're good. They'll be fine. They're not worried about making next month's rent or where their insurance is going to come from. I don't care about that. So they can think about things like democracy and stuff like that as if that matters. First, we don't have democracy. But if we do have democracy, it's not working anyway. So would we take Trump or, to be for anyone else, as a dictator if they fixed everything? Yes. And that may make some of you angry. Still true. We would do it. We would do it. We would happily do it. As long as he was our dictator. That's all we care about. And I think America has shown that to be true. We're not mad. Elon Musk has walked in saying, I'm just doing stuff. And we're like, all right. Okay. I know what's happening now is not working. So let's give this guy a shot. Right? But they told us that there was going to be no elections. Did they tell us that? I think one's coming up here in New York. I guess they were wrong about that too, weren't they? Yeah. You're right, Lunatic. I wish you were wrong. But you're right. Duke of Hacks, $5. The U.S. being the center of worldwide trade, the consequence of Trump's sledgehammer could cause a global catastrophe that may not be worth it. Maybe. That is my worry, Duke. You're hearing me. I do have a worry. What is very common for people, and Trump Trump is doing this now, which is when someone wins as decisively as Trump won. I know some of you saying he didn't. You fooling yourself. He did. And even if he didn't, the whole world believes it. America believes it. The only people who don't believe it are people on the left who are mad. He won decisively. He's acting accordingly. The country's accepting it accordingly. And even with everything he's doing, he still has a very good approval rating, still to this day. Elon's losing a bit. Trump is not. I mean, you can just see it. The polling's out. I'm not making this up. It's true. He is. And my worry is, to your point, Duke, he goes too far. He's like, I can do anything. I'm amazing. I can buy Gaza and displace 2 million people, right? Shit like that, right? That's my worry. He thinks that's okay. Now, is it possible he could pull that off? Maybe. But that's going to cost him a whole lot of political capital that he probably shouldn't be using there. Use it someplace else, not there. Go someplace else. That's what I think. But we'll see. My point being, I think you're right. If he goes too far and America has to default on its loans or something like that, you are right. It could make a global catastrophe. If that happens, the people are going to beg for dictators. And they're going to get them because there's always a dictator ready to come. There's always one ready, guaranteed. There's always one ready. And the last thing we want is German dictators. That does not go over well, in case you didn't know that from the past. And they're about ready. AFD's about ready to go. So we don't want that. That is a bad idea. We don't require more dictators. I agree with you. It could be a problem. It could be a problem. Lunatic says, globalism killed all my friends, stand alone. That sucks. Lunatic, I didn't know that. That's terrible, man. I'm sorry to hear about that. Globalism has made a lot of Americans suffer. That's true. We were not prepared for it. We didn't do a good job of it at all. And it made a lot of people outside of America wealthy. And it made the wealthiest Americans more wealthier. That's true. It did that. But for the average American, it did not help us much at all. I agree. So we have to fix it. But to Duke of Hex's point, I don't want to fix it to where what I get now is a bunch of dictators across the world, right? We should fix it without that outcome. That's what I'll say. We should fix it without that outcome. So, yes. All righty. Matt says, some D-bag from Vermont is making a speech about how Trump didn't win a landslide election. They're saying that. It's just, Matt, they can say what they want. It's fine. You hear all the time. You hear, I know Crystal says it on Breaking Point. He only won 48% or whatever. It doesn't matter. You can say what you want. The country believes it. Everyone believes it, knows that he's acting accordingly. It doesn't matter, right? It's true, right? You got a guy who literally was convicted of 34 felonies. He is a convicted felon. He's been impeached twice, right? That's a fact. He's a convicted felon. He's impeached twice. And he beat Harris with the popular vote. That's a fact. That's decisive. That's decisive. That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you. So, yes. All righty. Let's see if I can do this real fast. All righty. I will grab some more of these. I appreciate that, by the way. Mike says, this is bonus for Trump. He's living to promises. The dominoes cause his enemies to be exposed and crushed. Well, here's the thing that's funny is in that same, this is to your point, Mike, in that same survey that they did, that same poll, I should say, the same poll, they asked if Trump was doing what he said he would do. And like 75% said yes. See, again, you're hearing people who are mad at Trump say, this is not what we voted for. This is not what they voted for. The polling says, yes, it is. The polling says, yes, it is. There's a lot of cope. And I got to tell you, if you lean left or you're a Democrat, you need to talk to your people. And I mean it seriously. Talk to your people. Tell them to stop whining and complaining and to come up with some plans. Now, Hakeem Jeffries said some honest stuff today. He did. If anyone watched what he said, he actually said, I don't know what tools we have. He said that. Who said that days ago? I did. When they were saying we're going to do everything with tools, you got no tools. You got nothing. Democrats have nothing. They are devastated. They have nothing. Whining and complaining. If you're watching or listening to this and you're either left-leaning or you are a Democrat, either one of those two, you need to get your people to come up with some goddamn ideas. Okay, you hate the tariffs. What's your plan? Okay, you don't like him trashing DOE. What's your plan? Okay, he's dictator. Got it. What's your plan? The left has been screaming. The Democrats have been screaming that Trump's evil, bad forever. And America's like, we don't care. It's obvious it's not working. So this is to your point, Mike. I think you're right. Most Americans are saying he's doing what he said. They knew Elon was coming and Elon coming. That's it. They know it. That's how it is. So I think that's right. Yes. Lunatic, you are busy tonight, my friend. Says Trump being pissed at all the private money spent on a campaign exposes everything. All the private money not spent on a campaign exposes everything. I'm not sure Trump cares about the private money, to be forward with you, Lunatic. I don't think he cares. I don't. I think he's trying to gain wins wherever he can gain wins. He is focusing heavily on foreign policy, which is taking him far longer than he thought. And he's admitted it. And so have his people. They've all admitted it. It's longer than they thought. They all thought they could do it faster. You know, like they're saying, yep, I did warn them. So now they're like, look, let's focus on that, because the foreign policy wins can be big wins. They really can be, if he can get them. They can be very big wins. But he has to get some short-term wins. And that's why he wants things like DOE, USAID, things like that, right? He does want to get some of those victories. I'm not sure he cares about the private money. I don't know. I feel like he may not care about it. That's all I'm saying. So Mike says, I heard a wise man once say the 80-20 rule. That's a smart rule. I agree with you. Nothing will be perfect, but it's in the right direction, not retribution, just getting it done. I'm agreeing with you. I am, as I always say, let's be cautiously optimistic. Trump could actually go too far and screw this up. He's just human. Could absolutely happen. I'm hoping he won't. Let's be optimistic, and let's hope that we get an audit of the Fed. Let's hope we get an audit of the Fed. Man, let's hope we get an audit of the Fed. I hope so. Over on Rumble, peace, laws. Thank you for the dollar, my friend. Interesting question. So our news, our politics, not to mention our personal lives, are affected by deception. True. Can't we make money doing and selling the truth? Are we affected by the mind virus? Yes. Right? Here's the issue. Most people think that truth is easy to find or clear. It's neither. Truth is always colored and murky. Always. The question is, do I know where the person's coming from? And do I know where they're going? Right? What am I trying to achieve and where am I coming from? That's how you can judge truth, if that makes sense. So the key to truth is not truth. It may sound weird, but hear me. The key to truth is transparency, right? All of you know that everything I say is colored by my libertarian views. Clearly, I say it openly. I tell you that. Of course it is. Of course it is. So you know where I'm coming from when I say things. So you know that I'm not just supporting X, just supporting Y. You know that. I tell you that. And I tell you where I want to go, where my goal is. I tell you that too. So I hope that the truth is easier to hear from me because you know where my head is. And you can even say, okay, Larry's not lying to me. He's wrong because X, Y, Z, right? I don't think he's right because of this, but he isn't lying to me. He's telling me his truth. He's telling me the truth. He's telling me what he knows to be true, what he believes. He's telling me that. And now I can judge whether I'm going to accept that or not, even though he's not lying. I don't think anyone can always be telling the truth, meaning always be right. But can they be telling their truth all the time? Sure. I think that's possible. And can you make money in it? I guess so. Let's just keep trying to see. I'm trying to get more people. Can I make money on it? Let's see. Why don't people become members and then we'll make money on it? See, you're doing it already, Peace. We're making money on it already. Yes. Become a member, guys. $49 per month. YouTube, if you would, membership. Do that. We can make money on the truth like Peace wants us to. Let's make peace right. Yes, absolutely. And also super chat me. I appreciate every super chat as always. But no matter what, guys, click the button known as Lima India Kilo Echo. Click that button. It makes Mr. Rhythm really like it a lot. So please do that. So yes. All righty. Grab some more of these. All righty. Search says, I don't even consider Biden's presidency valid since he was not elected, in my humble opinion. But he was the president. So whether you would feel that or not, he was the president. I mean, that's true. So my head, whether was or wasn't, I mean, I think it was. I think it was. But even if you don't, he was still elected. Then I think that's still an issue. So yeah. All righty. Phil says, I'm late, lol. I was explaining free market economics though. That's a good excuse. Phil, good excuse. I like that. That is definitely a good excuse. Yes. Straight Ann over on Rumble. Thank you for $2. Elon posted a few changes that the U.S. Treasury and Doge agreed on. Also posted an estimated $1 billion per week of fraud. Wow. $1 billion per week of fraud. $52 billion a year in fraud. Wow. Wow. Well, there we go. Already. If we could just get rid of that, that'd be nice, right? Again, let me look. What I would love more than anything, look, I'm not going to be greedy here. I would be satisfied if Pete puts up the numbers one week and they went down. That's it. Numbers went down. It'd be great. Just let them go down once. Yes. 100%. So I think that will be amazing. Let's hope that happens. That would be great. All righty. Over on Instagram, MetaMock says, let him cook. My issue is that both parties have a different view to fix things, but neither side is in power long enough to get their agenda done. I'm glad Trump hit the ground running. This is such a common thing. Is it Metamotox? This is such a common thing that people keep saying that, right? I agree completely. Rick says it here. Rick says, Dem voters are jealous that their champions don't pull out all the stops to keep what they promised during the campaign. Yes, constantly. Rick, the amount of people who have left the Democratic Party and gone further left because of that, millions, maybe hundreds of thousands for sure, maybe millions, but surely hundreds of thousands of people in Americans have literally left the Democratic Party and gone further left because of that right there. Because Democrats say, we're going to give you all these things, and then when they get in power, there's always an excuse, and nothing happens. Republicans do it too. Don't get me wrong, they do it also. But Democrats have left the Democratic Party and gone further left because at least the far left will promise a solution. They will promise a solution. Democrats promise nothing. Or if they promise, they're going to lie. They're not doing anything. You're totally correct. This is a big deal. And they are jealous. They are angry. And my point, Rick, is stop complaining and whining. It doesn't work. Instead, come up with a plan and show how your plan is better than Trump's plan. So when you can yell and go, Trump's doing this crazy thing, you go, okay, what's your answer? Trump is bad. No, here's what Trump should be doing. Boom, boom, boom. Right? And if you happen to watch Bill Maher last Friday, he actually talked to the DOE. He talked about the Department of Education and how it is failing. He said it's broken. It's failing. Maybe it should go away. This is Bill Maher. He said that. Not just that. He was talking about how this is terrible. Trump is destroying everything, but then recognized that he had no answer. That's the problem. He's just finding reasons to say how Trump is bad. I get it. You've been doing that since 2015. For 10 years, you've just been saying how bad Trump is. He won twice. It doesn't work. Come up with a plan. The problem is they don't have one. That's the problem. Yes. Mike says I'm wrong. He says replacements by summer. You don't think a year? All right, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's a year. I think it's a year. And the reason why I think it's a year is I think he's going to have his hands full overseas. I think he's going to let stuff go. I think it's a year. But we'll see. In the summer, you can come on and tell me how wrong I was, or I can be right again. We'll see. We'll see, Mike. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I think a year. 18 months probably is too long. I think you're right. Matt at War says, stopping Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is crazy to me, like billionaires supporting mega financial companies to attack regular consumers. Yeah. Yes. I think you may be right. I'm unsure the details on this one. But I could see that, yes. I could see places like this being collateral damage. I could see that. Definitely could see that. It could be true. I hope that's not the case, but I do think that could happen. I wish I had another answer for you, but I think you could be right on this one. It's possible. Yes. So, all righty. Brennan says, hey, Larry, I love your videos. Do you ever come to Canada? I have in the past. I'm happy to go. Let me know where you are, Brandon. See if I can make a reason to stop there. I do a lot of upstate stuff. So if it's anywhere near upstate New York, many people don't know, but New York is a border state. We don't think about that. But yes, we border Canada. So it's very easy for me to get to. I can get to Ottawa, Toronto. I can get to Montreal. These are all within the within driving distance from New York State border. So yes, all of them are. There we go. So all right. Andrea says I body slammed the like button. Rick says violate that button. You can't, or you can lightly caress the like button if you want to. Also, all those things are possible. You can pick. So yes. All righty. Let's see here. Peace. Thank you for the $1. Elon saves us all this money. Wouldn't it be exciting if large majority of this money saved went to something we can all agree on? Maybe even 10% goes back to the people in a check. Brainstorming. You know, there's the issue, right? And this it's a valid point. The problem with doing the right thing, which would be to pay off debt, is people won't see anything right away. To bring this up, Peace, when I ran for governor in 2022, I had to admit to people that I couldn't deal with New York State's debt. New York State's debt's about it was like $400 billion, something like that. It makes the way the same. I don't know. It was about $400 billion. And again, for New York State, it's a lot. For America, joke. But it's a lot of money for us. And they're like, what do you mean you're going to pay the debt off? And the libertarians got mad because their own virtue signals just got mad at me because you have to do the thing that virtue signals. And I'm like, the problem is we are so broken as a state. I can't touch the debt because I have to fix the massive holes in the state first. Otherwise, no one will see any benefit. People will keep leaving while I try to pay the debt off. Now you might go, Larry, that sounds terrible. Yes, that's how broke. I didn't make this problem. I didn't put us $400 or $500 billion into debt. I didn't do that, but we are. So I might have to fix some things while I hold on to debt and service it to set us up to where we make more money so I can begin paying off the debt. If that makes any sense. That was my whole goal with New York State. New York State's worse off now than it's ever been. There's no way anyone can actually take care of the debt in New York State right now until you at least fix it to where we stop losing money. Right? New York State is just losing money every single year. You have to get us into the positive first so we can begin to service our debt. So to your point, Peace, do we have to do something positive for the people so that they're okay with it? I think yes. I think your concept is a good idea, right? Do we do stimmy checks? I made that up. Maybe it is right? But do we cut income tax? Do we cut something to where we somehow reward Americans for all of the pain we're going to put them through? I think it's not a bad idea. I think you're right. Something like that's a good idea. I don't know what that is. Stimmy check's the easiest, obviously, but that may not be the best. There may be some other way of assisting or helping in some way, shape, or form. So yes, I do like that idea. So, all right. Let's see here. Let me keep going down the shore. I do appreciate all of these guys. I do appreciate it totally. All righty. Okay. Kim says, dissolve the Fed, print our own currency, put it in We the People Bank. That way our money works for us, not private central banking system. Well, there's two parts to this. Number one is legally, states can't make their own money if it crosses state lines. So a state could make its money. In theory, a state could have its own currency. It could if it was only a state currency. It cannot compete with federal currency. You have to actually change the Constitution. You have to change a lot of things to make that okay, right? But I know someone would be very happy to hear this right now. It would be Roger Meadows. You could create individual local public banks. You could do that, in which case the banks would be localized. You could do that, right? More credit unions, things like that. You could do that. That is an idea you could do. So yeah, otherwise it'd be a massive change. So yes. Pete says, could they make Ron Paul the Fed chairman? Yes, they could. I don't think they will. That would be amazing. I mean, amazing. I hope that's true. Yes. So Matt says, fair tax, a national sales tax, disproportionately affects the poor. A progressive tax system is more fair. That's actually not true, Matt. To be very full with you, the current idea of the fair tax does have a cutoff on dollars that basically creates a type of negative income tax, where if you are, I forgot what the number is, the most recent thing, if you go to, it's like fairtax.com or something like that, I forgot where it's going, but it talks about the idea that what would happen is if you make under a certain amount of money, that's get a tax rebate that would pay for your tax in that regard, make it more of a progressive tax system. So in theory, if you just had a national sales tax, you'd be correct. But the current fair tax plan is not that. There is a way of making it work to where it does take care of people who are, I think it's under 40K. I think that's right. So it does make it, that doesn't affect the poor disproportionately with the current idea of the fair tax. That's why it's not just called a national sales tax, because it is a different system. So I hope that's clear. If you can check it out. Is it? I think it's, is it fairtax.com? Hold on. It might be fairtax.com. I don't remember where it is. Is it that? No, I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. Is that it? No. I don't know. No, but there is a spot. Look, if you look for the fair tax, there is a spot. If you do a little homework, you can find it. The current plan is not that. So, yes. Ryan says, Larry read my mind on the congressman aptitude test. That would be amazing also. Agreed. I love the idea that you have to earn the right to be one of our representatives. The problem is the problem is emotionally and culturally, right? The reason why we can't do that is we did that, 150 years ago to stop Black people from becoming congressmen. So we have a cultural issue. We have to work on that, right? If we could change the cultural issue and make sure it's clear, and I mean openly clear, that we say it in a way that is caring, in a way that makes us feel good about it. We worry about the feels. We worry about those things. We have a shot at doing it. Otherwise, the cultural issues will stop it immediately, right? Because of our past, right? We have to get past those cultural issues. Otherwise, we'll get angry. So, yes. All righty. Let's see if I can do this here. Riot says, why not assign a Dem to run Doge with Elon? That way it'd be hard for Dems to say he's doing shady stuff. Well, I think in theory, that's a wonderful concept. I do like the concept. The problem is, can you find a Democrat who would do it? Right? A Democrat doing it would be seen as a traitor, right? Because remember, Elon bad, right? Billionaire man bad, orange man bad. If a Dem were to do that, they'd be seen as a traitor, right? So they only have two choices: go and be a traitor, or go and sabotage and destroy it. Either one. Both are bad, right? You have to find a Democrat who will be prepared to be accepted as a traitor, or accept one's going to come in and trash everything, right? That's the issue. So, okay. Mike is reading my mind. He goes, Dems would sabotage anything attached to. Yeah, they protect party with no interest in change. Yeah, not one Dem has supported anything so far. So pick who. Yeah, okay, Mike read my mind. Yes, Mike and I are on the same page. I mean, again, I like the concept. I do. The idea is a wonderful idea. In practice, how do you implement it? Who are you going to pick? I mean, maybe Fetterman? Maybe. I mean, but even that's a stretch. Maybe. I mean, you would think, one would think that Bernie would have been a good guy to do this. In fact, Bernie, theoretically, is the perfect guy to do it. The perfect guy. But in reality, he would never do it. That's a fantasy. But imagine if he did. That's like only Nixon can go to China, right? Bernie doing this would be like a Nixon going to China. It would change everything. But that's a fantasy. So I guess, again, the concept, good concept, just not really able to do anything. Chris says, Larry, I really enjoy your show. Keep fighting the good fight. I truly believe that all this corruption is being untangled because of RFK Jr. He's an incredible human being. He really fought. I'm going to tell you the truth. You're right. You're right. Why do I say that? It all began, the entire concept of a unity ticket began with RFK Jr. You can go, that's not true, RFK. You are fooling yourself. You cannot believe if you don't want to, but that's the truth. RFK Jr. was the beginning of the unity ticket. When that began to happen, Trump saw what happened and watched how those people came flooding to them. He saw it. He's like, damn, this guy shows up and I got more people. Okay, I like this. I could win. Let me see what Toast's doing. Oh my God, let me see what Elon's doing. Boom, everything started coming. He's the beginning of this. He's the beginning. You are correct, Chris. And some people go, no, it's not true. You are fooling yourself. It's obviously true. Look back at it. It's about RFK Jr. RFK Jr. was the reason for this. It's why the Democrats hate him so much. They know that Trump does not have a decisive victory without RFK Jr. He might have still won the election. I'm not saying he wouldn't have won the election. I don't know that. I haven't looked at the numbers. I have no idea. But I am 100% sure he does not have a decisive victory without RFK Jr. Without a decisive victory, he can't do what he's doing. Without RFK Jr., Elon Musk doesn't do what he did. Right? Once RFK Jr. does what he does, that becomes okay for everyone else to do it. That's when it becomes okay from him doing it. Now they'll go, okay, let's do it. Not just that. RFK Jr. made it okay for Democrats to vote for Trump. Made it okay. I heard them. Chris, you heard them. They're here. A lot of people are watching right now will tell you, I didn't vote for Trump. I voted for Bobby Kennedy Jr. I just voted through Trump, but I voted for Bobby Kennedy Jr. Literally hundreds of thousands, not millions of people did that. Millions, probably 3 or 4 million people did that. They were like, no, I'm voting because RFK Jr. 100%. Yes. And that unity ticket concept came because of that. And you hear people on the left go, there's no unity ticket. Again, you're fooling yourself. It absolutely happened. Remember, these are all former Democrats. Where was unity ticket on the left? There was none. The Democrats didn't have one. Democrats didn't bring in Jill Stein. They couldn't because they didn't believe anything Jill Stein was saying. Imagine if the Democrats had brought in Jill Stein. Imagine if Democrats had actually had just run a primary and kept RFK Jr. The Democrats had the original had the original option, not because they didn't want to do it, but they had the original option to have a unity ticket. The Democrats, if they wanted to, could have run a primary, could have brought Marianne Williamson in, could have brought, Jill Stein in. They had that option. They were nowhere near going to take it because the Democratic Party has become the establishment party. So they would never do that. But they had the choice. They had the option. And they went, that's stupid. And then Trump went, I'll try that. And boom, there it is. You are correct, Chris. This is because of RFK Jr. That's just true. I know some of you don't like it. Doesn't change that it's true. Doesn't change. That's true. All right, let me see if I can grab some of these super chats. Somebody popping up. I gotta start grabbing these if I can. All right. Let's see here. Lindsay says, got you. All money's private owned to Federal Reserve. Oh, that's what you meant. Got it. Okay. Okay, Lindsay, I got you. Okay. All right. He goes on to say, people live the routine, Larry. Look, I say this often, lunatic. People are a lot of people are overwhelmed. You might not like that. You might like that, but they're overwhelmed and they're trying to just get their stuff done. They want to live a good life. They want to play on their phone and they want to have time with their family and friends and they want to work and they want to make money and they want to buy cool things. They want to watch cool TV shows and stuff. They want to go travel and go meet people and stuff. They want to do stuff, right? I get it. People want to do stuff and they want to have nice things. It's what people want. And sometimes they get stuck. They get stuck in a rut trying to get to the next thing. And it's not easy unless you're already wealthy, right? If you're already wealthy, life is good. But if you're not wealthy, you're in a routine. A lot of us are. A lot of us are. One of the things I enjoy about this show is it gets me out of a routine. I'm talking about different things, different people, going back and forth. That's why I love it being live, right? Because I just talk about, I never know who's going to be on, who's going to say stuff, who's going to respond to me. I don't know. And I like that. This is how I don't live the routine, lunatic. This show is how I don't live the routine, right? Plus also I'm a consultant, so I have different clients. I mean, literally every week, different clients, different things. Last week I was on a criminal case, consulting, and then I'll be raising money for like this thing or raising money for that thing. So I'm all over the place. So that's how I do it. So yes. So Lunatic says, why were vets criminalized from Koreans today? Vets are criminalized. Not sure where you're going with that one. Lindsay goes on another $1.99. Lars Mapstead, Larry Sharpe, 2028, get to work. Thank you, my friend. I don't think Lars wants to run again. I mean, he might, but that was a tough one. I don't know. Not everyone's as crazy as me. Most people run once and they're done. I'm the idiot who keeps going. So that's me. Yeah, I'm the crazy one who keeps running. Most people don't. So yes. He goes on, thank you, another $1.99. Wants and needs, my brother. Yes. Look, people, this is going to sound funny. I bring this up when I talk about my sales training and my business training. I always remember something. People don't buy what they need. That's not a thing. People buy what they want. Needing it is a reason why they want it. But lots of people don't buy things they need. Lots of people ignore things they need. Lots of people buy things they want that they don't need at all the time. So people buy what they want. Needing it is a reason why they want it. Doesn't mean they'll get it. They may not. So yeah, I agree. But either way, people should be able to enjoy their lives. So yes. P says, want to super chat for cheap? Get Larry's attention for cheap? 200 characters for $1. It's like a dozen eggs for $1. Get your butt over to Rumble. Let's poke the bear for $1. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. It's true. Thanks, Peace. He's not wrong. I'm just happy you guys are chatting. That's all I care about. So yes, I appreciate that. I'm just happy we're chatting. So yes. All right. Grace says, Larry, would you accept if they made you the Fed chairman? 100% yes. 100% yes. They'll never do it, but yes, of course I accept that. Vivek says, fairtax.org. Thank you, .org. Thank you. I said .com. Thank you, Vivek. Yes, it is fairtax.org. Thank you. Yes. And Joel says they called it a pre-bait under the fair tax. There we go. Pre-bait. Thank you. I'd forgotten what it was called. I knew it was something like a negative income tax. So yes. So that is why the actual fair tax concept is not just a straight national sales tax. That's why that's what that's about. So yes. Ingrid said, if the federal government paid the debt down, would the state governments follow? My fear would be the reverse, Ingrid, because the problem, and I mean this seriously, my fear will be the reverse. So many of the states, as you've heard me say 1,000 times, their entire plan for their budget is just federal money. That's it. That's the plan. It's not grow my state. It's not build more jobs. It's federal money. That's it. That's the answer. And many of you thought I was joking when I said that. And you find out, oh my God, he's exactly right. That's actually the plan. The plan is just federal money. So if we start paying our debt down, there's not going to be enough money to go back to the states. The states may actually find themselves in more debt initially. If the federal government actually puts its house in order, some states may find themselves in deep trouble. They're going to have to shift and adjust and do everything a different way. There could be local pain because of that. And that is my point that I mentioned earlier. It could be worse. So I'm trying to get rid of that cough. So there we go. All right. All righty. Phil says the only problem with national sales tax is the new national tax. It's a new national tax. We're likely to get both, not a replacement. Not a constitutional. Yes. The only way you can bring in a fair tax if you get rid of all the other taxes. Yes. The problem is, you're right. We probably won't. So yes, I apologize. I gotta cough for a bit. I can't get rid of this damn cough. All right. Thank you for that. All right. Peter says, Larry, does the Libertarian Party have an economist that would want to work with Musk and Doge? No, not at all. Libertarian Party is we're about one thing and one thing only. That is virtue signaling. So that would actually do something. So the answer would be no. The Libertarian Party wants to virtue signal. That is the answer. And since they won't virtue signal, there's no need for them. So that's all. Peace over on Rumble says, Liberty, you are being too optimistic. If you wouldn't mind, please calm that uplifting mood. Please, more drama. See that, Liberty Lady? That Liberty Lady is being too nice. See that? More drama. Make things worse. Break things a bit. That would be great. Make things terrible. Everybody wants that. That's the real answer. I'm teasing, obviously. So, yes. Alrighty. Grab a couple more of these. Matt says, I voted for Bobby, baby. Yes, you're not alone. You're not alone, Matt. Ryan, same thing. What if RFK Jr., Tulsi, and Elon? Yes, absolutely. Yes, that is the answer. Absolutely. Yes. Grace says, a lot of liberals, old school liberals, and Kennedy fans felt like Bobby gave them the okay to vote for Trump. True. Yes. The Kennedy magic still exists. I still crush on John Jr. That name has weight. It's true. Yes. 100%. 100%. Yes. Nico says, damn, if it was up to chat, that would be Bobby, would be POTUS. That's true. Yes, 100%. Look, a lot of people still wanted to be president. It's true. Absolutely. A lot of people still wanted that. Yes, absolutely. Thomas says, fair tax rebate brings progressive tax benefits to the poor and working class individuals and families. The formula is on Fair Tax's website. Yes, which I just checked is fairtax.org. I thought it was .com. I was wrong. It's .org. Vivek squared us up with that one. So thank you for that, Vivek, for letting us know that's what it actually is. Joel says he's not overwhelmed. He's just whelmed. Well, a lot of people are. So, yes, a lot of people are. So, go a couple more of here. Phil says, here to bring the normies. Bring more normies. We need them. I hope this is a show that you can bring your normies to. I hope it is. I hope it is a show you can just bring normies to. They can ask questions. We'll talk. We'll have conversations. And I try to talk in a way that people can understand. I hope so. That is my goal. Straight Ann over on Rumble for $1. Thank you. I'm old. I vaguely remember Reagan admin was worried about making the dollar too strong. Is that a thing? Of course, it's always a thing, right? You always worry about whether the dollar can be too strong or too weak. Of course, you worry. You want to find the right spot, right? Of course. So, of course, you do. But yeah, Reagan was concerned also. I mean, I'm not too young for that. He was my first commander in chief. That's how old I am. I got straight in by a couple years. Yeah, when I did the Marine Corps, Reagan was my first commander in chief. So, yeah. Thomas says, Mike Chermott is an economist that will be good for the Doge team. Agreed. I hope that he will get a position someplace. That'd be nice. I don't know if he will, but yeah, I hope that he will. That would be. I know Mike. I like Mike. I hope he's able to get a spot somewhere. That would be amazing. That would be. I hope he can do that. I really do hope that would be an amazing thing if he can make that happen. I'm not sure he can. I know that he's interested. I know he'd say yes if they give him the opportunity. I know he would. So, yeah, I do hope he gets it, and I think he has a shot. Maybe. Nico says, RFK v. Trump was the fight I was rooting for, was out there getting signatures before the ladies sued him off the ballot. Yeah, for those of you who are Democrats or who lean left, either one, the reality of it is the Democrats could have fixed this just by running a primary. I know I keep saying it, but every bit of pain that Hakeem Jeffries is in right now, when he openly says, do we have any tools? I don't even know if we have any tools, right? It's his fault. He's the reason. He could have just forced him to have a primary and it all goes away. All the pain goes away. Again, it is still possible that Trump would have won. That's still possible. But he would not have been decisive without RFK Jr. and the rest of the team. It would have been a regular, whatever normal Republican win, like in 2000 or something like that. But it wouldn't have been decisive. And he couldn't get away with everything that he's getting away with now. That's the issue. So, yeah, I think your point's valid. Joel over Rumble says, I've been putting Larry Sharpe Facebook profile link in my comments on Hochul's post, hoping to bring some supporters to the Sharpe side. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Every bit does count. And I am still looking at running in 2026. I'm hoping I can make that happen. I'm not sure if it's going to make any sense. I don't know if I can raise enough money and enough support to be forward to. I don't know if I can. The problem is people are leaving the state left and right. I'm hoping that we can gather enough people, enough interest. I'm hoping that we can. That's what I want. We'll see if that happens. I really do want that to happen. I hope so. So, yes. All righty. Let's see here. Roy said, 100% Larry, Trump was running since before he left office, while Harris only had a few months and made many unforced errors. She wasn't battle tested because you said no problem. Agreed. I mean, I don't think that, and a lot of people think this, I do not. I don't think Trump was inevitable until Biden decided, I'm going to stay until last minute. Once Biden decided to stay until last minute, that's when Trump became inevitable. Prior to that, he wasn't. I think you're right. Look, if they had a primary, as I said 1,000 times, and I'll keep doing it, either Harris would have become a better candidate. I don't think that would have happened, but that's one option. She would have become a better candidate, in which case she would have won the primary, been battle tested, been a better candidate, had an actual plan, had an actual team, hopefully had some actual plans that she could do something, right? Hopefully have those things and be able to battle Trump. Option one. Option two, she loses the primary and someone else wins, whether that would have been Kennedy or Dean Phillips or whoever. I don't know who would have won, but somebody else would have won. Whatever that issue is, that person would have won. They would have been a better candidate, right? Clearly, because they would have beaten Harris if that would have been the case. But not just that. What if you have that and now you have Marianne Williamson in that primary and she loses? But now you bring her aboard, right? Not just that. Now, RFK Jr., if he doesn't win, if he loses, you bring him aboard. Now the unity ticket becomes the Democratic side, not the Republican side, right? So absolutely, running a primary, Trump could have been beaten. You don't run a primary? No chance. And that's what we saw. And that's why before, right before I was saying Trump's going to win this thing, right? I was saying it because I knew it was going to happen 100%. So yes. Let me grab a couple more of these. Merlin says, running again, woohoo. I didn't say that. I said, I'm looking at it still. Yes, absolutely. Mattawar says, Trump's attack on LGBTQ and creating a faith office concerning to me. It's not a place to tell them how to live. Also, abortions, there's a line somewhere. This is the issue we're finding, though. And this is the thing that I get here. He's actually not attacking the LGBTQ. He's really just attacking the T. I'm just being forward with you, Matt. He's really only attacking the T. The rest that he doesn't care about. He cares only about the T part, right? There's like 5 there. Only one letter he cares about. He cares about the T part. That's it. That's who's attacking. And you might go, well, that's still terrible. Agreed. I don't want to attack anybody. But I'm just saying, you're saying it's that. It's not that. It's just one. And sadly, for the T of the LGBTQ community, Americans are like, ain't worth fighting for. Sorry, not worth it. You're going to pay. Sorry, not worth it. Yes, and you might be mad at that, but that's where America is. They're like, we have problems. If that group has to pay, guess they're paying because we don't care. I don't mean to be mean, Matt. I'm telling you what's happening. He's not attacking the LGBTQ. That's not a thing. He's attacking only the T, and he's picked that out specifically, and Americans aren't ready for it. They're like, we're not prepared to fight for that. That's not something we're ready. We're not. And because of the push, there's a push here. What I mean by this, and if you are heavily into the trans community or you care about them closely, you may be upset when I tell you this. I'm just going to be very forward. The idea of tolerance versus acceptance. The vast majority of Americans, I mean the vast majority, are absolutely tolerant of the trans community. That's true. The vast majority are. And you can say I'm not. The data is there. It's absolutely true. The vast majority are. Some aren't, but the vast majority are. What they feel bad about is the image that has been so well done. And shame on the Democratic Party for failing to fix this. So well done. Is that the trans community is forcing itself upon others. Now, is it actually forcing itself upon others? Not really, but it doesn't matter. The view is that it's forcing itself upon others. The Democratic Party has done nothing to fix that. And to be forward, the trans community has done a terrible job of countering that. They've done nothing to counter it at all. So that is what a huge chunk of America believes, as they're not prepared to fight at all. Sorry, Matt, I'm being very forward. That's what's actually happened. So that's why America's like, okay, whatever, right? The idea of biological men being in playing sports with biological women. Vast majority of America's against that. It's not even close. It's like 80%. It's something crazy. Vast majority of America's like, that's a stupid idea. Not good. I happen to agree. That's also a stupid idea. Just because you're trans doesn't mean you get to play a sport. It doesn't. Don't care. I don't get to be a professional basketball player. I don't want to change the rules for me. You gotta give me a pogo stick so I can play basketball. I'm in my 50s. I want to be an NBA player. No, I don't get to play. Too bad. I'm not good enough. Whatever. Too bad. You're trans. You do you, live you. You don't get to play a sport just because you're trans. You're not owed anything. If that makes you angry, I'm sorry if you're trans. And vast majority of America agrees with me. It's just it's not a thing. And they pushed it instead of going, you know what? Let that one go. Can we just exist and not be attacked? And they're like, no, we got to play sports. And again, they did nothing to fix that. So that crushed them. And you make a Larry, that sounds so dumb. You can say it sounds dumb all day long. The data it's what happened. It's literally what happened. They did not do a good job of that at all, Matt. And the idea of abortions, the second piece about abortions. For most of America, abortions are not going to be affected. California, New York, it's not going to be affected. So that's why people aren't fighting on that one either. Because for the vast majority of women, their actual safety has not been affected for the vast majority of Americans. Now, there are some, don't get me wrong, I would say it, in New York State where I live, it's not a thing, right? It's just stuff that Democrats say to sound like they're being attacked or something. But nothing's happening in New York State. There are states where women are in trouble. I get that, and they will have to fight locally on that, and that will suck. But that's not a national issue anymore. It isn't. It didn't work. Those national issues are not landing anymore. And again, if you are leaning left or you're a Democrat, you have to accept these two things I just said as true and fix them. And stop saying, Trump hates trans people. America doesn't care. As means that it doesn't care. It doesn't work. He hates abortions. He hates women. Doesn't work. My governor said, if you vote Republican, you are anti-American, anti-woman. It didn't work. More Americans voted for Trump. More New Yorkers voted for Trump than last time. It didn't work. So, Matt, I hear what you're saying. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to show you what's really happening. This is what's actually happening. And if you care about those communities, you have to change how this entire message is coming out because it's failing miserably. It's just failing miserably. So anyway, hope I didn't make any of you guys angry. It wasn't my goal to make you guys angry. I'm just being forward. So yeah. Thomas says trans women and female sports is 90-10 issue. Yep, 90-10. I thought it was 80-20. It is, yeah, it's not a thing. It is not a thing. You just have to accept that it's not a thing. So Roy says, among 500,000 NCAA athletes where less than 20 biological men are seeking to compete, then they're done. No. Those 20 people are screwed. And they're not screwed in life. They just don't get to compete against women. So 20 people cannot compete. Roy, you and I aren't going to be in the NBA either. We have to accept that. Just have to accept that. We're not going to be able to compete. It is not worth having a horrible other issues in America because of 20 biological men who want to compete against women. It's not a thing. They're just screwed. And that if that makes me a bad guy, I accept being a bad guy. Just how it works. So yes. So yeah. Mike goes, not supporting gender affirming care for children or breaking Title IX for 0.05% of global population is not phobic. Agreed. It's yes, it's agreed. And then most people would agree with that too. Yes. I do see that. Yes. Joel says, I only saw attack on underage. Yes, good point. Yes, absolutely. That's true. Also good point. Yes. Phil says, keep it gay, keep it gay, keep it gay. Phil says, gay it up. Yeah, I'm with you. It's not really an issue in that regard, right? No one cares with the gay people anymore. That's not a thing. Whatever. Whatevs. That's it. Yeah, Phil says Trump made the village people a ton of money. Very true. Yes. Thomas goes on saying the left is on the wrong side of backing 80-20, 90-10 issues. Yes. And when you can do that, you can, but you have to have something else that's so big and so important and so valuable, right? Or it's got to be something that matters that much, right? This isn't that. You can do it, but it's got to be something like, I don't know. I'm not sure what I don't know if I have one. I don't know if I have one. An issue that would be there right now. I'm not sure. So yeah. Ryan says, Larry, I never played in the NBA. I'm 6'2" and still can't dunk. Plus, I'm 43 years old. Yeah. Well, I'm not 6'2". I'm shorter than 6'2", and I'm over 10 years older than you. I'm not playing either. So yeah, absolutely. Peter says, Larry, did you see the ad during the Super Bowl for women's varsity tag football in high schools? I didn't know it was a thing. Yes, a lot of them they're going to flag football. That's true. Yeah, that's a thing. It is popular. So look, let them play. Motivates you. All good. I have no problem with it. No problem at all. Yes. Cheyenne says, the T community lost America when they couldn't listen to Dave Chappelle. I got to tell you, Cheyenne, you are correct. That was a turning point. When Dave Chappelle was telling jokes about the trans community and they immediately attacked him, the amount of people who turned against that community, yes, you're right. That was a big deal. People like, what? He's telling jokes. He hammers what? And you're mad at Dave Chappelle? And he's funny. And he's not even anti-trans. And I know a lot because what happened is once that happened, other celebs came out and they said it's open season on the trans community. I think you're right. They should have just went, whatever, tell jokes, move on. They did not. It's a valid point. That may sound silly, but these are cultural issues. A lot of this is cultural. And at one point, you got to be like, yeah, all right, telling jokes, move on. And they didn't. Absolutely. Phil agrees. He says, definitely, Shen, Chappelle's a Monday prophet. Yes, that was a bad thing. Should have just left it alone. Should have just left it alone. Let Chappelle tell his jokes. Move on. You have other things to deal with, other issues you're dealing with, trans community. This was not the place to go. And they went that. They thought, we can beat anybody. No, you can't. No, you can't. And now you're losing. You know? Roy says, being made fun of by Chappelle is a promotion. Every group could benefit. Yes. Yes, it should have been like, oh, he's making fun of us. We're real now. Yay. That's what he should have done. Yes, 100%. I completely agree. So, Peace, thank you for $2. Are we getting a pogo stick to play basketball? Me and you, Peace. We're gonna play. Yes, you can play for the Wizards. I'm gonna play for the Knicks. We're gonna get pogo sticks and play. We're gonna fight them. We're gonna sue them. They're being discriminatory against us old guys. Yeah, discriminating against us. Absolutely. That's so silly. So Joel looks like Joel's over on Rumble says, I have a crush on Marianne. She's good looking, rich, and crazy. Yes to all those. I have met her more than once. I had dinner with her last summer. She's also brilliant. She's also very, very smart. I don't know if you know her well at all, Joe, if you have met her. She is very smart. So she is all those things and very smart. Yes, all of them. I am a fan of that, even though we don't have the same politics in many ways. Still a fan. I would have happily supported her in the Democratic Party if she was been running for something. Absolutely. Yes. So let's see here. All right. Cheyenne says, and he forced the moment of silence upon his audience. Yes. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm totally okay with that. I'm totally okay to do that. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. Matt at War says, Joel, he's trying to move trans women to male prisons, regardless of whether they had a surgery or not. AV coding is an issue. Oh, I don't really know about that, to tell you the truth. But again, my point, Matt, being is sadly, a lot of people in the trans community have they've lost the narrative. And you might not think that matters because of whatever is reality or such. It does matter. The narrative does matter. It does tremendously, right? I talk all the time. People tease me and go, but facts. And I would say feelings matter. And this is heavily about the feels, Matt. It's heavily about the feels. It really is. And it may not be great, but it's true. Alexa says, I can't get behind teaching people that parental rights are fascist. That wasn't the piece that went too far. This was the part that the first piece was the sports. The second piece was what you just brought up, Alexa. The idea that says parents don't get to know if their kid wants to transition. It wasn't that the kid couldn't transition. That wasn't the issue. It wasn't the kid couldn't change their name or say they were a boy or a girl or whatever. That wasn't the issue. The issue was, well, because the parents may disagree, therefore the parents don't get to know. That was a bridge too far for a lot of people. Because what wound up happening is this started affecting kids. And once they started saying, well, now you get to play in the sports when they're kids, they might go, well, it's sports. Why do we care? Well, a lot of people, particularly teenagers, they have to compete. Girls compete so they can get scholarships so they can go to college. This is their future. Now you're messing with a kid's future and their parents. And you can mess with parents and they might get mad. They might not. You mess with someone's kids and the parents are pissed and they're going to fight. And they are going to fight, Alexa. You know that, and that actually happened. And so that was chunk number one, which was the kids playing sports. You mess with kids. Then you're saying, oh, if my kid transitions, I don't get to know that they're transitioning. So now you're my parent. You're my kid's parent. I don't own my kids anymore. Now you got parents mad again. And then you add on top of that, you start adding that. Remember the story time thing, which is messing with kids again. Oh my God, was that bad timing? So now what do? You scare all the parents into action. Why are you messing with our kids? Leave our kids alone. Leave our kids alone. How can you win that? And somehow that community thought, oh, we're powerful, we can win that. You can't. You cannot win that. And we've seen it. You can't win when you're in any way, shape, or form threatening children. You cannot win. It was silly to even imagine they could win. That was a terrible thing. There's just you cannot win that. That's not a winnable fight. And they fought it and they've lost and they will never win that. They just won't. It's unwinnable. It's unwinnable. So yeah, this is why that group is getting so hammered and now being ignored, because you just can't go there. It's a place you can't go. That's all I'm saying. It's a place you can't go when it comes to the kids. So anyway, I've yapped away on that piece. Guys, I haven't asked you, so I'm going to ask you now. Please click the button known as like. I know I bug you on it every time. It does matter. Please do so. If you are watching on X or Facebook, whatever the case may be, please repost this or re-X this or put it into like, I don't know, a Facebook page or something like that. Copy it if you can. It does matter. Every little bit that we can get this posted someplace else is going to help. So please do it if you can. I always like when you subscribe. If you have not, please do so already. Also, please follow me on Facebook, X, and Rumble. Following does matter. It's very important. I appreciate all your super chats, and membership matters. $49 per month. Click that join button. Every single time you do that, it gets more people to jump on board. More members matters. It does matter for this, so it can grow, right? So it can grow. I do think this is important. This is an important show in my view. Clearly, I'm biased. It's my show, so clearly I'm biased. But it doesn't matter whether I'm biased or not. Yes, this is an important show. It's a show that everyone can have an actual conversation. And you hear me. I will talk about issues that are challenging. I will talk about race. You see me do it. Talk about gender. I just did it. I will have those conversations. Some people feel weird and won't like it, but I'll still have it. I'm not going to shy away from it. And you can tell me if you think I'm wrong or you have a concern on it. We'll go back and forth. I don't mind it at all. And I will go out of my way, if at all possible, I will go out of my way to be as polite as I possibly can. So I hope you guys get that. Peace. Thank you for $1 over on Rumble. What we forget is that we are all children. Some have more years, but we are all the same kid that questions everything. Oh, that's so sweet, Peace. I like that. Yes, that's awesome. I do like that. Yeah, we do question everything. Yes, that's awesome. All righty. Colleen says, thanks for keeping it real, Larry. Love your show. Oh, thank you, my friend. I do appreciate that. I am trying my best to keep that going. So to the best of my ability. So guys, I do want to say thank you so much for tonight. I'm going to let you guys run. I will be back on tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern on my radio show tomorrow at 1, and then again tomorrow night at 7. So we'll have 2 shows tomorrow, and then one more probably early on Wednesday too. So at least 3 more, if at all possible. Guys, once we're done, once this is over, please do me a small favor, if you don't mind, and put in the chat after this is over, what was your favorite Chappelle moment? Dave Chappelle moment, your favorite Dave Chappelle moment. I will see you all very soon.